like my time in the mornings connecting and talking with Marty Crow from Habitat for Humanity as we talk about things that the Habitat is working on. You can find them online at habitatmasonwa.org. They're also all over social media at Facebook, facebook.com/Mason Habitat, and on Twitter at twitter.com/Mason Habitat. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Excellent.
Good to see you. And how are the houses coming along?
They're doing really well. We have, as you know from the last discussion we had a month or so ago, we've been working on a remodel up in the Timber Lakes development, and that house is near completion. We have a family dedicated to going to that house probably in the next couple of months. And we are also working on a house here in Shelton. We call it House 25. And that's a new construction house up on Washington Street. I've talked quite a bit about that over the last couple of months. We just, last couple of days, got electrical in, roughed in. We're working on inspection, and then we'll insulate and start to cover the interior. So we're coming along quite nicely. We've got 95% of the exterior done. A little bit of work to do and some trim, and then eventually paint when we get a little window of weather. But things are going great there. That's targeted for a move-in before the holidays.
Wow.
So that's incredible. We'll get a new family in that house, and they'll get to enjoy Christmas and have their place to call their own.
Isn't that something? That's got to be such a heartwarming experience when you hand over those keys on that final day.
It is. That house dedication ceremony is pretty emotional because, you know, as I last year when I first came on board, I realized very quickly that you're actually creating opportunity. It's one thing to say I have a home, but it's another thing for young people to grow up and flourish in a place they can call their own and not have to move and potentially and hopefully graduate high school and maybe even college from that same house. So that's what I see as a great opportunity.
It's something. Not only is it the new house builds that you do, but you do work also on home preservation, some things like that. You want to talk about?
We have a parallel mission that I've sometimes make sure that I talk about, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that the community oftentimes needs help for those people in need. Oftentimes seniors that are a little bit disadvantaged and need some support. We have a parallel mission and a construction team that stays busy every week of the year working on projects, and they can be anything from just fixing some steps up to the front of a house to replacing a porch structure and or in some cases building ramps that come up onto people's porches. Mm-hmm. Many people have 2 or 3 steps up to their house, and when somebody has limited mobility, a walker, or needs to use a cane, it gets very difficult to get up and down those stairs.
Yeah.
So we have been doing many projects over the last few years. Those numbers range in the 30 to 40 range per year. We have a mission from our board, a direction to increase that, roughly double that number as we continue through our fiscal year, which ends next June. So we've put a concerted effort into building volunteer teams and working with partners here in the community. United Way has been a huge supporter of this to help us reach out to 60, 70, maybe even 80 homeowners over this next year.
Wow.
And that we see as an opportunity to help many more families in a short period of time, and a great way to keep our construction volunteers busy year-round.
Yeah.
As opposed to just building on a house for 6 months and then being idle for a couple of months. We're going to use volunteers to continue to drive that month in, month out. So we've built the volume of jobs, I call them jobs or projects, up already, mm-hmm. and we will continue to see that trend increase as we go into the winter. The nice thing about these jobs is they're 1 to 2 days on average, so you aren't stuck on a long-term project. You can get in, get that job completed, you see the benefits, you take a bunch of pictures of the homeowners, and then we move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And so the volunteers kind of rotate. They might work on 1 a month, and whereas other people might work on 2 a month. So
when you have a more steady or quite increased workload that you have anticipated, does it help to have that to keep the volunteers engaged as opposed to on for 6 months and then maybe off for 6 months and then they kind of get lost into the wild, Yeah,
I think, I've been oftentimes told, being kind of new to nonprofit, is that volunteers always volunteer. So if you don't keep them engaged, as you said, you may lose them to another organization that's looking for volunteers. So it's a great opportunity to keep them engaged, month in, month out. And the great thing about home preservation is they can, put in as much as they want to. If it's a 1 or 2 day investment in time, people are happy with that, once a month. So it is, and I think the other great thing is they get to see the immediate benefit.
Yeah.
That's a ramp for a person who's now wheelchair bound or in a walker, using a walker. They see immediate benefit. And I was on a project, supporting a project here last week We dropped off a load of lumber early in the morning, about 8 a.m. We had to ask the homeowner to move their car. They moved it out of the way. We unloaded all the lumber in their carport, and I went back later the next afternoon. The ramp was done. I saw pictures the next morning of the family, the husband and wife, standing on their ramp, and it's now on social media. So that's the immediate benefit and the immediate results you get to see when you work on smaller projects.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can find those pictures and learn more about Habitat for Humanity at habitatmasonwa.org, also on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/Mason Habitat, and that's the same handle there for Twitter. Marty Crow from Habitat for Humanity, thanks for coming on this morning. Good to see you.
Thank you.